had a remake and a remake, and this third time's the charm, as they say. Spawning here in the bottom left, we have a European team stand up super late and come across server to compete in the 2v2 tournament. We have the Yellow Terran
Ziggy.
and his ally, the Orange Protoss
Rodzyn.
To the top right, their opponents. We just witnessed the struggle bus. It's gonna be the Teal Protoss
Nina.
the artist formerly known as Puck, and their ally, the Blue Protoss
Taldan.
Now, I don't want to bring this up every game and every time we cast Nina, but once again, just to get everybody caught up, because it's still a new thing, and I don't expect every viewer to know this. The person you knew as Puck has undergone like a gender transformation thing, hormone reassignment therapy. I don't know the details because I'm not inclined to know. I don't do that stuff, but I support them because Puck's been one of the most pleasurable people I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. They always show up on time for tournaments. So I said, I reached out to them. I was like, hey, look, I don't know what pronouns to use for this. I'm not used to all this. Help me out. And the answer was really nice and kind as expected. Nina says she prefers she and her. But if you accidentally say Puck or him, they're not going to be upset. She just wants everyone to be happy. So there you go. There's the recap. I'm going to mess this up throughout the cast. Deal with it. Let's continue. This is the same combo that just gave them trouble. Taldan and Nina, granted, did win 2-1, but there's not a soul in the world that's going to tell you that was a clean series that we just cast. So Ziggy and Rodzyn, I know, are really good players. I didn't know much about Amit or Denma. Really cool to see them play, by the way. Super shoutouts to them. But Ziggy and Rodzyn have been on the pro circuit. God knows, I can't remember how long ago it was I first saw Ziggy in like a Zotac Cup, but this guy was pretty good back then. And between him and Rodzyn, I expect them to put up a really good fight. There are some drawbacks. Cross server plus time. I don't know what time it is in Europe right now, but it's like probably after midnight minimum, I'd guess. So it's late for them. Luckily, the tournament shouldn't be that long, so if they win, they should have no problem getting to the finals in a timely manner. But yeah, this is gonna be difficult, I think, for our top team. Watching them struggle in that last game against players we didn't know too much about was rough. Now here in game one of a brand new series, they're going to be two bona fide pros. It's going to be a bigger challenge for sure. Okay, I'm going to quickly take a moment to start banning some people in chat because we don't have our mods here, and I don't want to support that kind of messaging. So nope, super nope. And now we're going to go into emote only mode for a little bit, and you guys can cool off. All right, I want to make it very clear, guys. I don't tolerate hate. Period. I don't care what your opinion is on who or what. Keep it positive. Now, Rodzyn and Ziggy are... Ooh, it's going to be some chaos here. Top of the ramp, it's going to go well if it was 2v1, but it's not. With the Marauder, just the one Marauder, concussor shells is huge. I feel like this strategy was tailored very well to the fact that this is two Protoss they're going up against. As having concussive shells is already a really difficult thing to deal with, even in 1v1s. This is now concussive shells with the backup damage from additional stalkers. They break on through, and the first stalker, oh, shield battery doesn't even save it. Probes are pulled. Like, funny enough, the answer to this is pulling probes into Marauders. You do a citizen's arrest, if you will. But that's not happening here. And with this kind of indecisive play out of Taldan, he's just losing out on more, losing out on mining, losing out on probes. I'm not sure what the game plan here is as he attacks his own shield battery. Whoopsies. But Nina comes to the rescue and units to the top of the ramp here. Granted, this was not a very good fight at all, and Taldan has been set back by this, but this wasn't and isn't game over yet. I think this was a good lead, though, and a very non-committed attack. Didn't cost the bottom team too much. They're both getting to expansions. In fact, both expansions are finished up, whereas Nina and Taldan have only barely got the one between them. This is a tough situation, guys. This is a really tough situation. I think Taldan and Nina before, you know, they were down, but they had some cool micro tricks up their sleeves. There's no disruptor yet. There's no war prism yet. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to perform those shenanigans, especially... Oh, yeah. There's no way Nina's going to get in here. She's going to be going up against Phoenix. They're just going to poke away the warp prism. Very similar to any other Protoss attack. If you kill the warp prism, you really kill the attack. It doesn't matter whether the disruptor goes down, but what's more important is if you lift up the disruptor. Well, it doesn't have to be a disruptor. It might be immortals, but if you lift up the disruptor, it of course cancels the shot. So unfortunately, this may already be a bit of a counterplay for Nina. She does get to the top of the ramp, but I think eyeballed the Phoenix. No confirmation on the Stargate, but I think saw the Phoenix. I'm not sure if this will still be the commitment or not. Okay, I'm gonna assume chat's simmered down a bit. We can take a mode only off. Look, I don't want to make a big thing. I'm not trying to soapbox this, guys, but let's be clear. Whatever opinions you guys have out there, we all came together to watch Starcraft on this channel. Can we just agree that we can all be friends and watch Starcraft? If you want to have opinions about people and things, I'm not going to stop you, but keep them to yourself, because I don't want to read that stuff in my chat, and I especially don't want to make it look like we're okay with you saying stuff that is any kind of hate speech in my chat. So hopefully we're all on the same page. Yeah, I don't want to ban more people tonight. Good, thumbs up. Oh, this is Magfield accelerators. Oh my god. Warp Prism here to break the lock on is huge, actually. That is beyond massive. Disruptor comes in, gets canceled. The Immortal in the sky getting plucked away at. Shield batteries out of juice. Taldan, where are you? Taldan on the other side of the map has cleaned up no worker kills to make this worthwhile. And frankly, Nina has done a really, I will say, an outstanding job at defending 2v1. But there's only so much you can do. And again, Magfield accelerators with lock on to these units can kite them around. Messy situation for our top team. I gotta tell you, if there's recovery in this, I don't know how. I'm not familiar enough with the 2v2 metrics and meta to tell you that there's a counter to this. I think the damage is too much. It's too great. Cyclones are pretty good. I guess in fairness, in seriousness and fairness, while that was a brutal attack, realistically, not that many workers have died through both these engagements. So, economically still in the game. Economically speaking, not out. Army fight-wise, though, I don't know that this gets any easier. The mass Phoenix play is already problematic. This happens in all matches. We see it all the time. Phoenix seem to be this pretty ultimate unit because of the crowd control they have to offer. And their drawback, your weakness is usually to invest enough Phoenix to have that ultimate crowd control. You'll have no real army underneath it. Whereas in 2v2, you have things like siege tanks supporting you. In fact, the other way around to flip it, for Ziggy's army, the biggest threat to a mech player is air. By having anti-air through Rodzyn, Ziggy's greatest weakness is also covered. So this is a really complementary situation for these two in the bottom. I like this. And our EU tag team here continues to dominate the probe count. 60 and 62 to 50 and 37. And Taldan's really had some troubles getting back into this. Yeah, look, it gets a little bit of wiggle room. These side missile turrets are really funny to see, but they present a weakness where this can happen. But not wanting to pull back for one unit, and I don't blame them, this really should be the push to win. In our previous series, we had our Terran player constantly coming back home to defend, and I really feel that's where the game fell apart for them. This situation, our European pros will not fall back to deal with minor harassment, but continue forward with the real attack. Shield batteries are massive. The siege tanks, though, I don't know how they're going to deal with the siege tanks. If they blink into the siege tanks, you know what's going to happen? The Phoenix is going to lift them all up. So it's a very slow push out of our Terran player, but it's one that seems unstoppable. A few well-placed Widow Mines could solve the Phoenix Cloud issue. I mean, true, but the team with the Widow Mines, they have the Phoenix advantage, right? The Stalker count in total is 20 and 12. Oh no. Oh, Taldan blinked into this. Oh no. I think if they both went in at the same time, you could justify the attack. But most of the siege tanks are still standing, guys. Carriers are coming up too to finish this off. This was, I think, a miscommunication perhaps, or a misunderstanding. Either way, this is not good. Not for our top team. It's great for the bottom team, don't get me wrong. But the Europeans are like the bad guys of the movie, man. Tries to drop the Warp Prism. Any units that came out of the Warp Prism would just be lifted up anyways, as you saw with the Phoenix. So this is breaking point for sure. Cyclones at the main base, just abandoning the tanks. They don't need to be there. The Phoenix will take out the Stalkers and the Cyclones. Oh god, they're melting that base. They melt it real good. Magfield accelerator. Hype. Couple of probes get pulled, but that's where Hellions are useful too. Phoenix may have enough energy to lift up all the remaining stalkers, but even if they didn't, yeah, the cyclones are here, and oof. That's all I got, guys. Give me a good old Roblox oof, because that's yeah, that's all she wrote. GG next game. Yeah, well, kind of agree, but you know, fight to the end. Puck's, excuse me, Nina's got a third base, maybe thinking, okay, somehow we can hold on to this, but Taldan has fallen apart. Taldan was really the weak link in this game, I think, for a couple different reasons, none of which are like petty. It's just things like, okay, you know, you made the decision to blink into the tanks. It was risky even under a best case scenario, and if Puck came with him, excuse me, again, Nina came with him, then it's something where maybe they could take out the tanks, but they still died to the Phoenix. So I think there's some miscommunications and some misplays for sure, but at the same time, a hell of a defense. Like, look how long it's taking 2 pro players to knock these guys out 2v1. I mean, Nina, her first attack to 2v1, she almost held single-handedly. So cool defense. Love to see this level of microplay out of Protoss, but it's still just not gonna win. Work account. I'm 5 years old. I don't know why that's funny. Nice pick off on the siege thing. Thor's out now too. Sun's out, guns out, boys. I don't know that Thor is all like at all necessary, but it is a big hitter and could take a lot of shots. So go into the back door. Rather than deal with this little choke point that's been so frustrating to push up, they're gonna go through the backside. Nina's trying to take these extra bases. Watchtower here shows the attack coming for sure, but while they finish off Taldan, Nina's not gonna have time to build those extra bases. Damn, Terran is too good in 2v2. Well, I really don't think it's Terran per se. I think it's just these two complemented each other's playstyle very well. Whereas like the way I would describe this is it feels like Ziggy and Rodzyn are playing together, whereas Nina and Taldan are playing alongside each other. And I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's 2 players playing their own game together versus a team that seems to have this like cohesive strategy. I really liked the Marauder push, the concussive shell push with Protoss units. It was such a small amount of units, but it was such an effective attack in the early game. In game number 2, welcome back to the 2v2 tournament. We're in the round of 8, and this is, well, looking pretty good for our Euro team. Top right side of the map, we have the yellow Terran,
Ziggy,
and his ally, the now pink Protoss,
Rodzyn.
By the way, thanks for this cast. It's been a rough week. I'm sorry to hear that, 47ness. Thank you for the bits, man. Bottom left side of the map, we have the blue Protoss,
Taldan,
and his ally,
Nina.
47 is, by the way, for those who don't know, you're expecting me to say as a talented artist. Nah. You're probably going to talk about Rifky. You're probably going to say how he cheers bits all the time. Nah. 47 is watches like everybody's stream. He's like the ultimate fan. He's always there. I love to see your name in the chat, dude. I'm sorry your week's been shitty, man. But you do so much for so many people. I have to believe that good karma is going to churn around on you. So here's hoping things look up from here. Taldan's attempted a cannon rush. I like this move, but I don't know how much I like it for this map, because as I said, this is one shared choke between 2. It's very unlikely he's going to be able to continue this. Now, earlier today we saw some noobs, not even amateurs. We saw noobs try and pull this off, and it's always fun to watch, but realistically this investment is not worth it. And Ziggy, by the way, just MVP'd this game. I don't know if you guys caught that. Ziggy immediately threw down a supply depot, not to build the supply depot, but to keep the probe out of the base, because even though there would be 2 players here to fight, dealing with those cannons would just be an absolute nightmare. So, you know, A for effort to Taldan, but F for execution. That went so poorly, and he is now behind for it. Oh no, all my conventions have been canceled after I emptied my wallet on merch. Oh dude, that sucks. That's right, this Corona stuff. You know, I've only really thought about it like hitting the big companies and stuff and affecting folks like, you know, at ESL and what have you. Never occurred till just this moment. You got all these artists, yeah, who load up on merchandise and sell in the booths and like artist alleys and stuff. And Oh man. Yeah, it's for the best for sure. Like, you don't want people to get sick, and you especially don't want, you know, your art to get infected, but that still sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. You know what you gotta do? You gotta start streaming, making your art. I've seen you stream once before, dude. Just stream some, like, I follow some artists who stream for like 8 hours just drawing sketches and shit. I watch that shit all the time. 47s, you're so talented. I would watch you 9 times out of 10. I say that without the intent to commit to watching you for legal reasons. But seriously, man. In this hard time where there's no conventions, turn to streaming. I mean, everyone's at home, right? No one's got anything else to do. We're all stuck in quarantine. Starcraft and art. You can't spell Starcraft without art. All right, getting back to the game though. Sorry, I got a little off track there, folks. Getting back to the game. Rodzyn setting for an expansion on the outside. Ziggy takes the pocket base. Taldan, however, has done like a 3 base expansion, and I'm wondering if we're gonna see some mineral funneling this game. Looks like an Oracle just got plucked off there. Because a tactic that you don't see used too often in 2v2 is you can just feed your ally money. So theoretically, you know, Nina could play 11 gateways, 1 base, as long as Taldan's constantly sending minerals and gas over and over and over again to keep their economy afloat. We've actually seen this before a couple of times, and it does work. It really does. But it's also a strategy that's super risky because you both set yourself up for fail. If either of you falls apart, you both are dead. For example, if Taldan just like casually forgets to send some money, Nina's out of resources, can't build anything, army suffers, army loses, no recovery, GG. Like, I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but that's appearing to be the case. Really late expansion here for Nina. Working on that war prison play. You know, this is not a very costly endeavor. So if the intention was not to share minerals, but instead focus on buying time for Taldan to skyrocket with an economy and then take that lead and turn it into like carriers and void rays and what have you, I understand. I applaud. But this is all stuff that I think would work on random ladder 2v2s that I don't know that would really work here against these pros who, again, I remind everybody, are up 1-0 in the series. And very similar play coming in. It might not have been the Marauder proxy push or anything like that, but it is still Cyclones with Magfield Accelerator. Gonna be able to lock on to just whatever unit they see and kill anything they come across because the Phoenix will hold everything in place. Oh, that stasis ward is actually pretty huge. It's not gonna save this game, but if it had managed to go off, that would have been sick. Yeah, the stock is just being lifted up. Back to the other side of the map. Where's that warp prism? Contemplating coming home. All the attention and resources being spent here defending. Doesn't leave much freedom for Nina to get in here and do her magic, but oh, the lock on and the missile turret. No! Oh no. That's probably gonna be all she wrote. That was a big investment for Nina to get to that point, to get across the field, and to lose it like that. It's heartbreaking to see because I love these NA players. I really do. But Europe is going to likely take this series. We do have our... Oh, I was going to quickly say, I was just looking at the bracket to see if we knew who the next matchup would be. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, assuming Ziggy and Rodzyn close this out. Or maybe Nina and Puck bring it back. The point, or excuse me, Nina and Taldan bring it back. The point I'm trying to make here is Braddock and Damaga have actually made it to the semifinals above this. So that means Braddock and Damaga will be the opponent of whoever wins this series. And for those who don't know, Braddock and Damaga did play together in the last 2v2. They had a really good team synergy too. They lost, but they made it to prize money there. They've made it to prize money again. So that's not too bad. That's really not too bad. It's actually going to be really funny though. if our Euro team wins, we're going to go to the European server, I guess, to play those games. So it'd be like EU versus EU on the NA tournament. Awkward. Not to be outdone, though. Top side of the bracket, you have somebody named Sinner playing with Starkiller, who's actually made it to the semifinals as well. Starkiller, famous for his pizza play and pizza rewards. You know, every time I see Starkiller in the bracket, I try to make a bet with him. I'm like, dude, if you win this series, I'll buy you a pizza. If you lose, you got to sub to me. And he declines it every single time. I wonder if I should try it again tonight in a 2v2, or if I just give up forever. Because I want to play with his pizza meme, but the boy won't play ball. And at the end of the day, is it really so bad to sub to base trade TV when you know that, you know, we make a lot of tournament? I'm just saying, it's not like a risky investment. Speaking of which, you guys should consider subscribing to the channel, especially if your Twitch Primes are off cooldown, right? Middle of the game talk. Yeah. Nina's got a lot of stalkers, and frankly, with all that money being funneled over from Taldan, you know, it's theoretically unlimited warp-ins, but realistically, I don't know. Even if you consider 4 base Protoss, it's 2v1, no matter how you shape that up at the end of the day. So this army supply out of Nina is massive, and it's cool to see. It's still like outdone by the other 2 players. Siege tanks as well, just firing shots on shots here. And I just really want to stress, I think if this was anything less than pro players, I think Nina and Taldan would be fine, and maybe could even recover this game, but not against players who are you know, the big fish, so to speak. Who else is on base trade TV? How many on the team? That's kind of an interesting question to ask, because they say, I thought it was always just you, Rifkin. Nowadays it is, for the most part. I mean, Darius comes in, we pay him to admin stuff, but if you want to think, it's more like a contractor, I guess. I don't know how to really legally classify that. But I would consider Darius as part of my team because he's always here to help and he's always around. So as far as base trade TV goes, long story short, once upon a time, like 8 of us started together, and we cast, and then everybody just kind of, you know, fell off over time. They went to different jobs, they did different things. Wait a minute, why are these Phoenix trying so hard to kill work? They're just kind of being given away. I'm just saying, like, is there a way back in this game from this? And then I'm like, oh right, it's like 7 bases on the other side of the map, so never mind. Anyways, you had people go off and do their own individual thing over time, and you know, Zombie King, she left, Penguin left, Doom left, everybody left over time, and I'm really the only one left. But as far as the team part goes, I kind of discussed this on stream the other night. I really see base trade TV's community as like that's it. Like, base trade TV is part of the community. We're not some big organization like Blizzard. I'm not some casting organization like ESL. We're somewhere where it's like between grassroots and trying to be one of those things. So I don't know. Yes, technically, I guess I'm the only person on the team, but I don't really look at it that way, if that makes sense. Because like I said, you got people like Dares who are always trying to help. You got people in chat who are here every day helping me keep my sanity. God, it sounds so cheesy to say, but we're all part of the team, guys. You can't spell team without with an I or something. Fuck. Couple of subs came in while I was fumbling over that, by the way. JJ Fire, thank you for the Twitch Prime. And Vizion87, thank you for the 2-month resub. But look, this is where I gotta stop talking about nonsense, because every time I look back, this is looking more viable for the Southern team. To be clear, I still am firmly of the belief Taldan and Nina are dead, but that stalker count's outrageous. The base count is kind of catching up. Oh, this sucks here. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's going to be a way to crack the ultimate team combo. You're going to have these Phoenix protecting the tanks similar to last game. Last game, they had to split their forces because the bases were, you know, in 2 separate locations. This time, Rodzyn and Ziggy can focus fire everything together in one direction. And Taldan really doesn't have anything to support with. I mean, he's got all of these gateways, but he's got no units. Remember, I'm pretty confident he's been funneling money to Nina this whole time. So really not much to show for it. It is 2v1 in essence. And I don't know if there was storms and disruptors and other things, we could talk about it, but with what's on the field currently, just blink stalkers. Nina's got some outstanding, like, Korean god tier micro, but that's not going to be enough. Dog fighting with a Phoenix blinking into tank fire. That's not what you want to see. That's not the interaction you're used to seeing when you're playing PvP. Oh, everything held up in the middle lines. They're shredded by the tank fire. Ninja base to the top left. Taldan taps out. GG. Ah, sad to see Nina and Taldan fall, but sick to see Ziggy and Rodzyn advance.